Shalom everyone, thanks for being here with this video. It's not a live stream because the internet connection through my subscription is not that much. Through the 4G connection, that's why I have to make it into a video instead of a live stream. Well, it's a sunny day today, as you can see. There's a clear blue sky over here. There's a road over here, and I'm just going to show you the environment a little bit. Hold on, let me put this in my pocket. Yes. So, it's me. It's a neighborhood. There's a little play yard behind there for little children. And I'm on the road now, as you can see here. And there's a road there for bicycles. So you can go there with your motorcycle or with a bicycle, just walking on this road over here. And there's a bridge of the metro station far over there, and beyond there are farms. Okay, so that's just the environment I've showed you. I put this back over here. The standard of the camera is not that high, unfortunately, so that's how I have to do it. Let me put this back on. Now, why am I on this place? Because when I was a little child, I believe around 7, 8 years old, I used to be around here. This play garden behind here, that I just shown you, okay, you may not see much of it, I used to play around here. But back then, there was no common road for pedestrians and bicycles and motorcycles over here. Back then, there was a railway over here, going all the way over there. That railway used to be an industrial railway that they used to transport goods. Well, that railroad became defunct, so they removed it. They removed it and they renovated the landscape into what it is today. So I don't know when they did it, because I moved away from it when I was around 8 years old. I'm 29 now. Well, I have 29 years, I mean. So they changed the landscape. The play garden for children is still here. The houses are still here in its place, but the railway is gone. And I believe they also construct some houses around here, because I can't remember many of those houses when I was a little boy. But okay, why am I here showing this? To show you that when the public wants something, they can get it done. There was this railway over here that wasn't actually used that often. So it was expensive to maintain it. And it was a bit dangerous, because you have a railway and you have children in a play yard over here. And back then, you had those traffic lights over here that would make sound whenever a train would come. They removed it also, because it was dangerous indeed to have a crossover between a road and a railway when there's a play garden for children right over here. That's not very smart. So, I don't know how many incidents happened, but I'm going to walk around now. The public got rid of it. Let me make this firm. Good. The public got rid of it. Hold on. Good. So let me walk now. And they made it into just a pedestrian road, which I'm going to walk on soon. Hold on. See it over here? This is what has become of the road. This used to be a railway. What you see behind me and over there used to be a railway. They got rid of the railway because it wasn't beneficial. Now ask yourself the following. Okay? Hold on. I'm sure I should go that way. Let me go that way, because then you can see me more clear without the sunlight. Listen to me. If the public is able to get rid of a railway that does not benefit them, then why can't they get rid of oppressive financial and economic systems? And it's not the only physical man-made construction they've changed. They removed the railway and they reorganized the whole landscape just to make it more friendlier for the public. Now, you're willing to spend millions to do a renovation like this. But where are the millions in use to combat homelessness or to combat drug addiction or whatever. Where are they? For example, nearby here, I can't show it now because it's a bit further away. There, I can't show it, but then I need to walk all the way there. But there was this building that was used as a community center over here. It was a big community center. And during my early teens, I went to a school right over here. So we moved away from this place when I was around 8. And when I went to high school, the first time I went to a school nearby over here. And right across the street from the school, there was this big community center. A very big one. And I have some good memories from that community center. I used to go there during the breaks. Several months ago, when I came back around here, I noticed, hold on a minute, something's missing around here. Yes, you have the old school building of the school I used to go to. You have the big church over there with a big square. Yeah, hold on, why so? It felt so empty, like something was missing. And then I remembered, aha, that big community center is gone. It's just a plot of grass now. I don't know what they intend to do with a plot of grass, but it's gone. So, if I was not updated by coming here, I would think, I just go to the community center, go to the library. But there's no community center. It has been removed. The building was quite old. And, well, a lot of the young people that were around kind of moved away. Because you have an aging population in the Netherlands also. So, it may not have been beneficial to keep a community center. So they removed it. Now it's just a plot of grass. You're willing to remove a community center that's been there for a while. A community center where people depended on for their jobs. Because a lot of people lost their jobs because the community center was removed. You're willing to make all those sacrifices, but where are the sacrifices to improve the human community? Where are they? And that is something I want you to notice. Fallen mankind knows they need to do better. Fallen mankind knows that there is no excuse for remaining in sin and in a fallen state. Fallen mankind knows by now that Christ is the only way. If it was in the Old Testament era, you could have given them an excuse because it was too confusing back then. It was during the time that Christ walked the earth, you still could give them some excuse. But since Christ was resurrected and the living receipts are provided by believers walking by faith, I'm one of the living receipts, the world has no excuse for remaining in the fallen state they are in. Generation after generation, they remain in darkness. Why? Now you can say, oh, shoot, many have been deceived through false teachings. Okay, I agree, there are false teachings. But there is one thing about false teachings that a lot of people don't realize. You can only succeed in deceiving someone in the long run if there's an investment on their part in the deception. Okay, maybe I need to repeat it one more time, so I'm going to repeat it to you. And I'm almost, hold on. I'm going to stand still somewhere soon. So let me say it like this. You cannot succeed in the long term in deceiving people unless there's something in it for them. There must be some agreement on their part in the deception for deception to continue over a long period of time. I already told you, if it's a minor deception, after 6 months, people will see through it. 6 months. If it's a very big deception that's quite well organized, it may take 2 or 3 years. When it comes to deceiving the masses, I mean. When it comes to individuals may even notice it after a few days. But when you want to deceive the masses, you can do that on the long term if there is a long-term investment from the public in the thing you're deceiving them in. Well, let me stand over. Let me go over here. Let me see. Can you see me better now? Yes. I'm going to put the camera down. Hold on. Yes. So, if you deceive someone or you trick someone into something, it's a trick. It's deception. So there's always going to be something about what you told them that doesn't add up. Their natural instincts will hint them that something's wrong. Now, most people, it may take a while, maybe a few months, before they realize, something's wrong over here. But their natural instinct is there. But a lot of people are so greedy, or they're so, I would say, they're so irresponsible, they just want relief. They just want to be left alone and be at ease and not be challenged or bothered by anything. Such are the people that will ignore their natural instincts just to get along. And such people are the people who actually end up enabling the evil that goes on. Evil is not powerful. Violence can be powerful if used persistently. But neither evil nor violence has power in itself. It doesn't. What gives evil the power it has, hold on, is the denial of the masses. I think I'm going to cross the road. When the masses remain in denial of what's going on, that is what validates evil, and that is what empowers violence. Violence is just escalating because you don't have your way. You're just causing harm and destruction because you don't have your way. That's violence. Violence, there's no power in it. There's power in building something. There's power in maintaining something. There's power in securing something. But there is no power in escalating just because you don't have your way. Violence has no power in it. It can only be powerful when people are afraid of the violence. That's it. And look, if you're on your own, someone has a gun to your face, I can understand that it's powerful, that the violence has a powerful impact on you. But if you have a whole group of people, 200 people, and one has a gun, then those 200 people can easily do something for that one man with the gun. Okay? If then the guy with the gun is able to control 200 people, then there's such an excuse from the masses. If he has just one gun, and he's just one human being that depends on his own human muscles to shoot you, and you're 200 of them, it's impossible for him to shoot 200 people and focus on 200 people at the same time. So, if you have around 200 people, a whole crowd, you have a guy with a gun, and the guy with the gun gets away with having impact on those people, that's on the people. Now, let me stay over here. I think it's quieter over here. Also, there's gravity on both sides. So, as I mentioned before, evil and violence has no strength, no power in it by itself. It's only the strength that we donate to it, that's the strength it gets. So, if someone's a little child, you can easily fool them into almost anything because they're just a child, they don't have a mental reference, okay? But if someone is an adult, they at least have a mental reference. But that doesn't mean that the mental reference of their past is a good one. But at least when they're an adult, they have their natural instincts that are working. An adult must be willing to forsake listening to their inner natural instincts for you to deceive them in the long run. If an adult is not willing to have their instincts numbed down, then you cannot deceive them in the long run. Impossible. And this is something that Satan knows, the demons know, it's something that the Nephilim spirits know, there's something that all the wizards know, there's something all religions know, all governments know it, all satanic cults, all criminal organizations. Every charlatan also knows this. You cannot deceive an adult in the long run, or you can't drag them into a life for long unless there is some investment in them in wanting to deny the truth. There must be some investment in the individual in the sense that they don't want to face reality. There must be some denial of reality in someone somewhere for you to drag them along in a life for long. That's the metro above here. Imagine this used to be a railway, all of this. But okay. So, just like I mentioned, people are willing to renovate a landscape, to remove buildings, or to build new buildings. They're even willing to remove a whole railway, which costs a lot of money to do that. They're willing to go to all that effort. But where's the effort to improve their human communities? Where is it? But then people say, yeah, but we have corrupt politicians. How many politicians are there? Let's say a country has 2,000 politicians. It's a very much. Let's say you have 2,000 politicians in a country. A country with a population of 5 million. If you have 2,000 politicians, we're all adults, and you have 5 million people in the country, and the adult population is around 2 million. So 2 million people are adults. So from 2 million, you have 2,000 who are politicians. Just 0.1% of the population is a politician. 0.1%. Not even a percent. A tenth of a percent is a politician. 2,000 people, you have an adult population of 2 million. Are you telling me that 2 million people cannot shut down 2,000 lying politicians? No. The public just wants to be left alone. The public doesn't want to face things. So the public wants to have bad people that do the dirty work for them. And that's why often the public tolerates oppressive regimes, because in an oppressive regime, you can play the victim, and while you play the victim, the people that you hate, have issues against, are also harmed. So you can have someone harming your enemies or harming your victims for you, so that you can get the narcissistic supply but doing the violence yourself. So you don't do the violence yourself, you have someone else doing it for you, and you get the benefit of the violence being done towards them. You're still guilty for enabling it, but at least you're not the one doing it. It's those evil politicians that cause the country to be so bad. It's a common excuse of the public. They do not want to be held accountable as a community. For example, if in a community there are more prisons than schools, something is wrong. If there are 2 big prisons in a community, okay, that's just in case there are people who are dangerous. But if a community has 10 or 20 prisons, big prisons, well-guarded prisons, so hundreds of millions are used to build big prisons and to maintain them, but there are not enough jobs for the young people. All those hundreds of millions used to build all those prisons, why not use all those hundreds of millions to boost the economy or to renovate the economy in such a way that everyone will benefit? No. They prefer to invest all those hundreds of millions in prisons, to lock people up, or to execute people, and to scare people, than invest all those hundreds of millions to renovate the community in a better condition. And why is the public putting up with this? Well, as long as they are left alone and they have their cup of coffee, or they have their sex partner sleeping with them, or they have their TV or their relief, they're okay. It doesn't bother me, I'm fine. You don't bother me, I don't bother you. That's the relief mindset of the masses. Live and let live. If something doesn't bother me, I don't bother them. So it's a selfish, narcissistic mentality of the masses. Because of this, they will put up with any nonsensical statement of politicians. They will. And then, as a young individual growing up in that community, they will tell you, the country's in a mess. So if you want to do something, become a police officer, or become a politician, join this political party, or join this religious institution. They offer you solutions of what you can do to improve the community. And because you, naive as you are, you want to be one of the good guys or good girls, you want to participate in the community, you don't want to be on the negative side, you want to be on the destructive side, you want to be on the good side, you are motivated to join one of the solutions they offer you. Whether it's a youth political party for the youth, or whether it's you become a member of the political party directly, or you join the police, or you join a crimes investigation effort, you want to participate in a solution, so you join the solutions that they're offering to you. But then, you realize very quickly that, hold on a minute, I've become this police officer, I've joined that Liberal Party or this Republican Party. I'm doing all of this, but it seems as if anytime anyone comes up with a solution that will work, people just shut it down. Then you can realize, hold on a minute, these people don't actually want solutions. The only thing they want is someone to blame. The only thing they want are victims to transfer their negative attention upon. And at the same time, they want the validation of being good people. So they want to be treated and awarded and rewarded as good people, while in fact they are doing bad as a community. So that's what you're going to realize soon. And some people become bitter, and they develop a hatred towards themselves because they blame themselves for being deceived that way, and now they join the dark side by becoming this misanthropic, bitter people. You have those. And then you have people who go further into toxic denial. They develop extreme right-wing or extreme left-wing ideas. And they join those extremist groups. It's both denial. What people should do is realize, I've been scammed. I know what the situation is. You know what? Who's the one they always push aside? Which name and which individual are they always upset about? But they can't get rid of? There's one, Christ Jesus. So let me listen to what Christ Jesus has to say. And then you listen to Christ, and you look for people who actually follow him, because everyone can call themselves a Christian or a believer. You actually begin to look for people who actually follow him, and you realize, so things can be better. So it's very easy. But that's the case. You have to want to be saved. You have to want to be saved. You have to want to become better. But a lot of folks, their cheap relief is all they're interested in. Their mind's all on a cheap relief. So when you come to them with long-term solutions, they are overwhelmed and they will just ignore you, or they will ridicule you, or in the worst case, they will attack you and seek to physically or mentally harm you. So that is why the pagan politicians and the pagan businessmen who govern this world, they know very well that the masses don't want solutions. That's why they promise solutions, but they never deliver. Now look, if you are a customer and you're purchasing some supplies from some, let's say this factory that offers supplies, and you purchase things from them online, but they never deliver what you purchase. Eventually, you're going to say, these people are scamming me. You will call the cops, saying, listen, sir, these people are scamming me. I've paid for the supplies. They told me they will deliver supplies, and when they don't deliver supplies, I call them, and they always give an excuse. It has been 5 months, and I still don't have my supplies. They've taken my money, they don't want to give a refund, and now I've been scammed. You would do that. Now, if someone tells you they're about to marry you, but every time when the wedding date is coming, they're making excuses why they can't marry you, you're going to think, this individual just wants to have sex with me and exploit me, but they don't want to actually commit to me, nor to the community. You would figure it out very quickly. Now, how can it be that the public gets it when they're financially scammed or when they're sexually taken advantage of in sexual relationships? Well, some people have difficulty recognize this, but the public can see it clearly. How can it be that the public can see sexual exploitation directly? They can see financial scams quickly, but they cannot see that they are governed by satanic hordes that are leading them to the lake of fire. This is because they are in on it too. If they were not in on it, it couldn't happen. Again, cognitive dissonance cannot remain in a public of millions for so long. You can't have cognitive dissonance for centuries. Generation on generation, people go to the same cognitive dissonance. That's not possible. People know what's going on. They just don't want to face what's going on because they don't want to participate in the solution. They just want to escape, be left alone, not hindered, not challenged by anything that happens in life, and then they're happy. The moment they're challenged, or the moment that they have to give up some of their expectations, they turn into monsters. They escalate. That's how the masses are in general. Escape, and when they can't escape, look for victims to escalate upon. So, it's obvious now The world is not the way it is because, hey, there's nothing we can do about it. It's just the way the world is. The world is the way it is because the worldlings want to keep the world the way it is. Look, if any man, grown man, in his 50s would take off his clothes and walk around, jumping around naked, drunk over here, it may not take very long for people to call on the cops and say, please, can you come catch this drunk man? He's embarrassing himself, and every one of us may be jumping around naked, being drunk. People would do that. Or if sexual assault happened a few times on a campus, there will be a whole campaign by the feminists against sexual harassment. And they begin to blackmail the men, to make all the men feel guilty for what a few men do. Actions and reactions come immediately. Oh, but there's systematic racism going on against black folks. And till this day, even though slavery has been abolished by most countries, except the United States, who only relocated it towards the penal system, even despite that, there's still economic disadvantages enforced against black folks. And when black folks complain, they're told to shut up, nobody wants to hear you, or you're overreacting. So black folks are always overreacting. When any other ethnic group mentions victimization, everyone has ears for them. So this is going on. It's very obvious, but for some reason people don't see this. People have their explanations for it. Come on now. Come on. The excuses are ridiculous. And excuses are even pathetic, because they can't even make up convincing excuses of why it's going on. Look, let's say someone has no ID because they just became homeless, because they've lost everything, and they need a job, but they don't have an ID. Now, you can tell, the employer can tell them, okay, you don't have an ID, so actually I can't give you the job. But there's an exception. If you can get an ID within a week or within a month, I may allow you to stay at the job. Some jobs, after 7 days, no ID, you're fired. But listen, I'm willing to give you a job now. I'm willing to pay you below cash. I only do this as an exception. Go get your ID. An ID costs around 50 euros. Let's say the employer pays you 200 euros. Say, go get your ID. Now, you just go there to the homeless shelter, whatever you have to do. You pay the 50 euros for the ID, an extra administrative cost, and then you get a receipt that your ID is on your way. And you can use that receipt to give it to your employer, and now you can be paid legally. It's arranged within a week or two, or maximum 3 weeks. But what if someone is fired from a job because after 4 months they still couldn't provide an ID? And so they're not being paid until they provide an ID. And then it takes them a half year to get an ID. People are going to say, hold on a minute. How come it takes you a half year to get an ID? Well, actually, it's a half year plus 4 months that you're already working. So it takes you 9 months to get an ID? Like you only have to apply for an ID, only takes you 2 minutes online? People are going to say, no. This individual is bullshitting around. This individual is just making excuses for not participating in solutions in their own lives. For example, the Asian American community, after a year of intense hate crimes, they got their own anti-Asian hate crime bill, and they have millions in funds to assist Asians right now, and they also have a few hundred million available to combat anti-Asian hate crimes. The Asians did not have to beg, they didn't have to riot, they didn't have to protest, they didn't have to scream around, nor put pressure. They didn't have to pray, nor fast, they didn't do any of that. Even before the anti-Asian hate crime bill came out, in the United States, where other countries already decided to take actions against anti-Asian hate. So things just unfolded for them. When it comes to people from African descent, black folks like me, after 400 years of oppression, which includes genocidal oppression, that still contains the United States a form of police brutality, 0 is put in place. Everything black folks achieved, our ancestors achieved, my ancestors, because they fought for it. And they put pressure on it. Black Americans became citizens after protesting and pushing for it. Because after slavery was relocated, what they call abolished, They were just residents, but not citizens. So they had to fight to be citizens. So, let me get it straight. So those Asian Americans get their assistance very swiftly, but black folks have to just find a way to deal with whatever is thrown at them. That shows you that there's a consensus in keeping black folks down. And there is no intention of changing that. And here's the thing, black folks are complaining, which is correct. The Asians didn't actually fight back. Oh, and now you understand why. The black folks, they were the assigned victims, and they were fighting back. So they were exposing the beast system what it is. Those Asians are victimized, and they absorb the violence, just to be polite, in general, not all the Asians. So the world can cope with them because they don't challenge the world. This is why the world is willing to favor them. But the black ones have survived so much stuff, and we are staring them in the face saying, what is this? So they can't handle that. Oh, last time in the United States, there were 2 children with guns. And when the police officer figured, oh, it's children with guns, they calmed down and tried to bring the children in safe. And apart from that incident, before that, past years, there were many mass shooters, even shooting at the police, and the police managed to bring them in safe and alive. And some of them are in prison now. Oh, but unarmed black people without any arms are killed often by the police, because the police was afraid, the police couldn't handle it. Oh, when it comes to black lives, you suddenly can't handle it anymore. Yeah, right. Look, the excuses are running out for the United States. Not just the United States. The excuses are running out in the world. Because they have been recycling excuses over and over again. And now all those recycling excuses have played out. So they don't have excuses anymore. And this is what you need to watch out for. When excuses run out, and the narcissistic public cannot escape anymore, then they'll be embarrassed and humiliated because they don't have excuses anymore, and then they will drop all the masks and they will show their ugly face. When they can't succeed anymore in relief, because they're hindered, they're going to drop all their social masks and they're going to show their ugly face. This partially happened under President Trump already. Okay? But it didn't happen fully. It will happen further in the future. So, I hate to break it down to you, but we don't have such pleasant times ahead of us. Okay? As a species. However, despite whatever is coming, walk by faith and overcome the violence of the world. That's what I'm telling you. Well, that's it for now. I've been speaking for almost an half hour. Yes, more than an half hour. Keep on agreeing with Christ and just don't invest in excuses of the world. Be at peace.